Hello, Simon Rainier, Links Armazzare out of Campbell River, British Columbia. Hello, Crow. Let's talk Posta di Donna, commonly translated as Guard of the Woman, though one guy told me it's more accurately translated as the Mother of all Guards. This is like third-hand information though, so who knows? Could be, but I wouldn't necessarily trust it. Guard of the Woman, Posta di Donna. There are three primary variations, which I have talked about before. I mostly want to kind of focus in on the third one. But for now, let's cover the first two. We have our kind of normal way of doing things, two ways. Forward-weighted and back-weighted. And there's some fun little nuances with them. As we are back-weighted, rotate a little so you can see me in profile. Our sword is basically parallel with the ground. You should be able to see the tip of the sword out of your left eye without cranking your head over. As we bring our body weight forward, the sword drops so that the tip is more vertical, hands right in tight to your shoulder, ready to shoot out for our attack. Now, why do we do this? Simply put, as we bring our weight and our body forward, we're bringing our squishy bits closer to the dangerous bits of the other person's sword, right? As we're here, I want that extra time granted to me by having a sword further forward to be able to defend or attack any openings I might see. As we are bringing our body away, we can have that extra time. That's probably a foot and a half of distance extra that we're giving ourselves. It's a lot in a sword fight. So we can bring our sword back a little more and be better protected. Additionally, if have our sword hand positioned the same, this feels really weird. And it doesn't really give us any advantages rather than having it pulled back. The only thing it really does do, massive disadvantage, is bring our elbow into, basically into engagement range. And I don't like getting hit in the elbows. I don't think you like getting hit in the elbows. Elbows are vulnerable targets. Let's keep them as safe as possible. Similarly, if we are in a forward-weighted position and trying to twist our body around so that their sword is parallel with the ground, again, feels a little uncomfortable, and also wings get clipped as opposed to bringing it forward. Elbow tucks in, brings us again sword closer to area of danger. Now, the final variation, Posta di Donna, Soprana e Altara. Someone does some sawing next door. Let's hope they don't, Stop it. That's a weird one. So, Soprana e Altara, Posta di Donna Soprana, as it's sometimes called, or Posta di Donna Altara. I've heard it called both ways. We bring our sword, again, back-weighted only, right down behind us. There's some confusion when we're facing our opponent, whether we look under the arm or over it. I massively prefer this, but I do show it both ways because some people like the other way more, and that's equally valid. Now, you will almost never see this guard position in tournament because of how and what it's for. We have a seemingly wide open target with very little protection from our sword. Now, Fiore says you can deliver all of the blows with the sword from this position, but that's not really what it's like best for. Yes, you can, but it's not necessarily ideal. What this is good for is a huge honkin' strike. We pull our left leg, in my case, wheeling it right around as we bring the sword for a massive strike. The reason why you don't see it in tournaments is because it's dependent on two things. First off, our opponent being afraid of a sword, and most practitioners of swordplay are not, unfortunately, afraid of swords. They should be, but they're not. Swords are dangerous. We should treat them with respect. More respect than I think they get given a lot. Secondly, it's dependent on being able to actually hurt the other guy. You're not supposed to hurt someone in a HEMA tournament. It's bad. Don't do it. If you break your training partner, you don't get a new one. From here, if I'm bringing this sword smack down on top of you, it doesn't really matter what kind of protection you're wearing. It's gonna suck. This will cave in masks and do all kinds of nasty, nasty damage. So you won't see it in tournament. It is historically relevant though, because historically, it's much more high chance of actually being killed by a sword. The one potential use Posta di Donna, Soprana e Altera could be good for is knocking an attacking sword aside as it comes in, because it doesn't really matter how strong the attack. If you manage to make that connection, you're going to disrupt it, basically. So yeah, that is how to use Posta di Donna and her 3 variations. Have fun.